Yup, 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 yup. Y'all can hear me? I'm loud, I'm loud, I'm live. I'm loud. All right, I'm live. I can hear me. Y'all can hear me, so we good. Um, I want y'all, I'm gonna show y'all something real quick. I ain't gonna get no intro to the shit, nothing. F all that. So I'm cool. I've been cool with getting 1, 2, 3. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with the top 3 pick this year. The reason why I'm cool with the top 3 pick this year is because if you look at the picks that we supposed to have, the last 3 of them ended up at number 3. Tatum, Brown, Reed Shepard all ended up at top 3. So I'm cool with a top 3 pick this year. And that top 3 pick is most likely going to be Ace Bailey. I'm cool with that. Here's the problem. Everybody is filling heads up with, yo, we deserve number 1. And to my detriment, I've done it too. I've always said time and time again, and I'm going to say it on my page so everybody could go back to my shit. Top 3 is what we deserve. Top 3 is what we deserve. Top 3 is what we deserve. Now, I know we done gave the picks away. Shout out to my man Ice. Shout out to Danny B. What's going on with y'all? Here's what I'm going to do. I looked at a video and I decided to make this video on the fly, man. I looked at a video today. It was a video that really interests me. Shout out to I'm gonna show this video. Hold on a second. I'm gonna show this video right now. I'm gonna show this video right the F now, man. So it ain't gonna be no mistakes about me showing this video. Shout out to the boys at Players Choice. Shout out to Pens R Basketball. Or Pensar Basketball. My bad, man. They ain't mean to plug your name land like that because I know you got blasted on the page, but this not me blasting you. But shout out to him. He actually had a resolution, and he said, the name of the short video on Players Choice was we solved the tanking problem in the NBA. And my questioning is not so much as did we solve the problem? Did we really? Did we really solve this problem? I'm gonna let y'all hear the video. Y'all let me know if y'all can hear this video, man. Hold on. I'm gonna let y'all hear it right now. Hold on.
Pen, you say you have the solution for tanking?
I do. Okay, so it's going to go further than the NBA has gone. Now, I believe that the NBA has made some very drastic and good moves towards, disincentivizing tanking, as evidenced by the fact that the Pistons finished with the worst record 2 years in a row and ended up with the 5th pick. And that is largely due to the fact that a long time ago, the top pick or the worst team had 25% chance to get the number 1 pick, which is a quarter chance.
Try to turn it up as loud as possible. Hold on. Try to get it loud. Try to get it loud on my screen.
And now the flattened odds mean that 1 through 4 basically have the same odds at getting Cooper Flag, which means that you could be the worst team in the league or the 3rd worst team in the league. You still got just a 14% chance of Cooper Flag. And 14% is about 1 in 6, 1 in 7. 1 in 7 exactly. So that to me is the first thing which I believe the league has already fixed. I would take it a step further. If you finish bottom 5 2 years in a row, the very next year your pick is automatically moved to 14th.
Okay, all right. So here we go. So he said if you finish bottom 5 2 years in a row, your pick is automatically 14th. Now, that's clearly not the case because of teams like the Charlotte Hornets and the Detroit Pistons. The Pistons still got a top 5 pick, even though they finished bottom 5 last couple of years. And this year they finally over 500. The Hornets, this would be their third straight year. This will be their third straight year as a bottom 5 team. Probably more than that. And I'm gonna go over the standings in the last couple of years. So I'm gonna just keep everybody posted as I'm still going on and I'm still doing this video. But I'm gonna continue, man. I'm gonna let him continue.
If you finish bottom
what?
5,
Wait, what?
If you
Say
finish
that
with a bottom 5 record 2 years in a row, the third year, if you do it again, if you finish bottom 5 again, or if you finish in the lottery at all, your pick is automatically moved to 14th.
Why?
What if you genuinely just suck?
Right.
So notice he just changed it up. He said 2 years in a row, bottom 14. If you finish in that third year in a row, bottom 14. He switched it up from 2 years to 3 years. So notice how he kind of wanted to correct himself. I've done it in the past. I ain't gonna put no blame on him for that, man. But shout out to Penn, man. Shout out to him, man. Hold on, I'm gonna let him continue.
Like,
That's not my problem.
we're trying to get better too. Hold on, Penn.
We gave
Penn,
you 2.
So
we gave you 2. You can't get better. We gave you 2 generational prospects. If you pick top 5 2 years in a row.
Oh, okay, all right. So that particular comment I got a problem with. Just because you draft in the top 5 2 years in a row doesn't mean that you're getting generational prospects. That's not how the draft works. There's not generational prospects in every top 5 half of the draft. That's what I need people to understand. That's what I need people in our fan base to understand. It's not always high quality picks in the top 5 of the draft. Sometimes the situation and all of that other shit come into play. A lot of certain things come into play, which they're going to get into later on in this video. But I'll let them continue.
And you're a lottery team again. Your pick automatically gets moved to 14th. We're done with you.
Wow.
Okay. So the
teams would strategize around that.
Good.
They would have to.
Like, we'll suck it. We'll suck during the Wemby year.
Right.
We'll try and compete in the Zachary Ricochet year, no disrespect, and then we'll suck again in the Cooper Flag year. Like that.
And Mars is 100% dead on about that, because teams have done that. Teams have worked around certain things and everything, and they've worked around that. Like, all right, we ain't got to tank 3. If there's a rule against tanking 3 years in a row that you go bottom 14 and then they leave you out of part of the draft, then certain teams that know they can compete, they'll just compete. They'll just be something like a game, like in that 10th spot in the play-in, or 10th or 9th spot in the play-in, and then they go back to stinking again once they hear about a draft in which there's a guaranteed player in the draft that can help them. You know what I'm saying? So these teams know how to scout. These teams, that's why they have scouters, and that's why they have certain players, guys in on the team staff to help them along with this. So those things come into play as well. I'm gonna let them continue.
They'll strategically be
great.
The 6th worst team in the league.
Right.
Cool. That's great. So at the very least, no franchise has to witness like back-to-back like 14 win seasons, like for 4 years straight. Like it just completely eliminates the Charlotte Bobcats of it all. Okay. So that's the first thing I would do.
Well, you'd have to improve. You can't just keep getting a lot of. You're not the Clippers of the '90s where you get the number 1 overall pick and the number 3 overall pick and the number 2 overall pick, and you're still at the bottom of the league. No, you have to improve. I can get now that logic. I can get with now the taking away draft picks. I don't know about that.
We're not taking away draft.
Now notice my man Chill on the bottom right. He said we're not gonna be the '90s Clippers. We ain't gonna be the '90s Clippers to where, all right, we're gonna just stink. We're gonna get the number 1 and number 2, number 3. Hey, just to note that in the '90s, it wasn't that much player movement. It wasn't that much moving around. So the teams that was playoff teams in the beginning of the '90s, they was playoff teams by the end of the '90s. Teams like Utah, Chicago, the Lakers. The Lakers is probably the only team that was moving players around like that. Boston, when they fell off in the '90s, that was it. They had to wait the next decade to go get better. Minnesota, they came on late because they got Kevin Garnett. You know, teams like that. So if you go back to the 90s, the teams that sucked in the early portion of the 90s, 9 times out of 10, they sucked in the later part of the 90s. Maybe it was a couple of anomalies here and there, but if you do your homework on the 90s, which I did off the top of dome, you can understand what's going on. You know, so I'm gonna let him continue. I'm just trying to find a good view so y'all can watch the whole thing. Hold on. I'm gonna let him continue.
Wait, giving him the last
We're
pick.
moving.
Well, you're taking away my chance.
lottery.
You're taking away my chance of actually getting a high draft pick, and I think that's where
That's cool.
That's where the
You're
divide
a
comes in.
gambling fiend, and you need some help, Joe. Okay.
That
So
would be funny. Like imagine you're one of the bottom 5 teams.
Hold on. Yo, my bad. Had to do something real quick. Let's get back to what they was talking about. So
2 straight years, and then the trade deadline comes around in the 3rd year, and you're like the 4th worst team. Seeing that team making a win now move to be the 6th worst team in the NBA instead of the 4th worst team, that would be kind of funny.
And
like you
they're
just
doing it
get
on
someone on an
purpose, too.
expiring contract to
They're
help
clearly
you
not trying
win
to
just
win.
enough to be like the 6th worst team.
yeah, and Mars touched on another point, bro. Like, yo, what if you in that bottom 5, and then just to avoid the said penalty about being bottom 5 2 years in a row, you go out and go get some veteran players, and then you move up in the standings, and you probably maybe a game out of the play-in or something like that. So these are things that teams are aware how to work around certain things. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to make it seem like it was, and this is one of the reasons why I say that. And I don't give a damn how many people got to say about it. This is just the truth. The Nets did not tank this year. They didn't tank. It was just bad. It was bad from the beginning. Before the season, it was bad. We was a bad team. Even at our best, we were still a below 500 team. It was just bad. That's realistically what it was. So I'm going to let them continue.
That would be kind of cool.
No, I'm not saying if you finish bottom 5 3 years in a row. I'm saying if you finish bottom 5 2 years in a row, the 3rd year,
Yeah.
if you're in the lottery at all, not just bottom 5. If you're in the lottery at all, you automatically move to 14th. It's not just bottom 5.
So if I got the 7 seed, so if I got the 7 pick,
that sounds drastic.
So my man Penn, he changed it 3rd time. This is 3rd time changing it. So he started off by saying, if you're a bad team, if you bottom 5 2 years in a row, you go all the way to the 14th pick in the draft, all the way to the bottom of the lottery. Then he said, yeah, of course we didn't tank, man. Of course we didn't tank. Everybody know that. Anybody that watched us and watched what was going on the court, we didn't tank. But maybe the organization thought we were. The organization, and according to John and everybody, if you ask any other Nets podcasters, they say we didn't tank neither. They say we're supposed to, but we didn't. We didn't tank. So I mean, it's basically that. So my man Penn, he started off by saying, if you're bottom 5 2 years in a row, you go to the 14th pick. Then he switched it up and said, yo, if you bottom 5 3 years in a row, you go to 14th pick. Then he switched it up again and said, in that third year, if you still in the lottery, bro, like, yo, you go to the 14th pick. So his thing is like, he wants to penalize teams that's still constantly being in the lottery. So if this theory is true, not saying that it is, that maybe that's no. If this idea is in fruition and could happen, that based on his idea, the Charlotte Hornets should not be getting nowhere near number 1 pick this year. They shouldn't even be in the top 5. They should be out. They should be like number 6 and number 7. They shouldn't be in the top 5 at all. So I'm cool with that. Everything that he's saying basically helps us remain in the top 3. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. So I'm gonna let him keep playing, man. Like, shout out to Penn, man.
Okay,
It's not fantastic.
I can't lose my pick. I can't
That's
move
just my
that
first
far
adjustment.
now.
I don't know about this.
My second adjustment is right now the lottery is done 1 through 4, right? And then everything else is in reverse seating. Okay. I would change it from 1 through 4 to 1 to 7.
So the first 7 picks are lottery picks, and
The first 7 picks are drawn by the lottery.
Okay.
What this does is it opens up Pandora's box that right now the lottery odds, which I feel like deserve an episode of their own, because I feel like a lot of people really just don't get it, because there's like a lot of people that are like, oh man, we're the third worst team. We don't have any shot at Cooper Flag. And it's like you literally have identical odds at Cooper Flag. To put this into perspective, last year and the year before, the Pistons finished with the worst record in the league. Right. And they got the 5th pick. Why? Because 4 teams jumped them and they were defaulted to the 5th pick. Now, here's something really funny that people don't realize. If you have the worst record in the league, what is the most likely pick that you should get?
Like the most likely pick is the 5th pick.
Exactly. It's 52-ish percent or 50.
I think it's 48, but
48%.
Okay, so what he's saying is basically, if you have the worst pick and if you have the worst record, at worst you should get the 5th pick, which is technically true. But we're gonna go over the standings over the last 10, 15 years, however many years we want to go down and see how true this really is. I'm probably gonna go back maybe 10 years, 10, 12 years, and I say back to 2014 or something like that. I'll probably go back the last 10 years and let's see how if a lot of these standings according to how the picks work. You know what I'm saying? Because the best thing to do is bring up the draft boards to these said teams. Let's go 2024 NBA draft lottery. You know what I'm saying? Let's go lottery for lottery. Let's just go year by year. Let's just do that. Let's just go lottery for lottery. You know what I'm saying? So this past year was Hawks, who finished in the play-in, Washington, who was bottom 5, Rockets, who was bottom 5, the Spurs, who was bottom 5, and the Pistons, who were bottom 5. So we gonna go year by year. You know what I'm saying? We gonna go year by year just to see how accurate it is or whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not going. Yeah, we gonna roll back the curtain on the top 5 picks, because right now, as if you're a Nets fan, the only thing you really care about is a top 3 pick. You know what I'm saying? So I think 3 it should be reasonable, but at the same time, they're gonna look at the Pelicans, who probably hasn't been a bottom 5 in a long time. They was a playoff team last year. Utah, who's been bottom 5 since well, not bottom 5, but they've been bottoming out. So Utah is another team in front. Charlotte and Washington, they two teams that should be in the, out of the top 3. They two teams that should be out of the top 3. So that's in my personal opinion. If this is right, they should be out of the top 3. So this video, I should have titled this video, bro, why we're getting a top 3 pick. That's what I should have did to this video, man. So I'm probably gonna switch the title. Who knows, man? So I'm gonna get back to this, man. Hold on.
Percent likely to get the 5th pick, which is the largest single odds.
Right.
So by moving it from 1 through 4 to 1 to 7, what you actually do is you open up a marginal possibility that you could be literally the worst team in the league and end up with the 8th pick, which completely changes the equation around we got to tank for Cooper Flag. We got to tank for Cooper Flag. So I would do this. That's the second thing I would do. The third thing I would do is I would
wait.
Mhm.
Relax, because I want to rewind really quickly. Because what I don't want to do is I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't want to penalize teams for being bad who are actively trying to be good. We know that there's teams that tank, but then there's teams that are bad that are trying to improve. The Golden State Warriors, for example, they drafted Steph, then they drafted Clay. Then they drafted Clay. They were obviously trying to improve.
I hate to step in and interrupt this.
All right. So we just gonna skip forward, man. Shout out to my man Ron. Ron don't got dreads no more, so this video is invalid, man. So
It's easy, baby. It's easy.
Right? They drafted Steph, then they drafted Harrison Barnes, then they drafted Clay. It was clear that they were trying to improve. So I don't want to penalize teams that are trying to improve. And because they're trying to improve and they're not, now I'm taking away their opportunity to improve.
You're not taking away.
Do that.
You're not taking away.
well, okay, so that's another point right there. Is do you want to take away that point? But is do you want to take away the ability to improve? But in the sense that he's talking about, if I'm not mistaken, Steph Curry and Klay Thompson weren't top picks. They weren't top 5 picks in the draft. I'm not 100% sure on it, but I could go and actually go look at it. So Klay Thompson went number 11 in the draft. Everybody knows Steph went number 7 in the draft. He was in top 5. Everything that Penn is arguing about is top 5. Harrison Barnes, Steph Curry, and Klay Thompson weren't top 5 picks in the draft. I think that everything that Penn is talking about is top 5 because the basis of his conversation only included bottom 5. Bottom 5 teams shouldn't always get top 5 picks. And for the most part, the Warriors through those years, if I had to say, I'm going to go back and go see. So we're going to go all the way back to Steph Curry. Steph Curry got drafted in 2009. So we're going to go all the way back to that. We're going to go all the way back to that said draft. So you know what I'm saying? So yeah, let's go back to that draft. What the Warriors what they did the year before. You know what I'm saying? So let's go back to that. So yeah, let's go back to that. So yeah, so it was a bunch of teams that was worse than the Warriors that year. So they got around the pick that they were supposed to get Steph Curry. So Steph was Steph went at number 7, if I'm not mistaken. Steph was number 7. So no, Steph was a top pick, but he wasn't a top 5 pick. I think the argument that Penn is talking about is mostly top 5 picks. Who should be top 5. I think that was the basis of what he was talking about to begin with, because he mentioned the bottom 5 teams. Now, when you mention bottom 5 teams, you talk about them being all the way in the back of the lottery, and that's another thing. I'm not too deep on that. You know what I'm saying? So, but the Warriors and Steph Curry did manage to go number 7 in that draft. But if we do these drafts again, Steph Curry is most likely going number 1. Just based on but the draft, as said, as a result. So the draft has probably been pretty accurate to a lot of teams in terms of the records. In terms of the records, they've been accurate to a lot of teams. Now, we know it are some cases where teams have definitely bottomed out on purpose, and then they got rewarded for it. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, we ain't going to act like that ain't happened. So, we're going to go all the way back to 2009, because there's a lot of injustices in here. And we got to remember what picks were traded for, and this, that, and the third. We got to remember the fact that in the past decade, in the past 10 years, that we had draft rights to Tatum, Brown, and Reed Shepherd. Those are players that's supposed to be on our team right now. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm gonna get back to it. Let's get back to more of this.
Anything, Cho. What you're doing is you are furthering. You're actually taking to drastic measure what the league is already trying to do, which is trying to disincentivize tanking. Now, the league is watching the Raptors and the Sixers rest fully healthy rosters in February.
That is a fact. That is a fact. And Pan is speaking as a Toronto Raptors fan. He's a Toronto Raptors fan. For those of you that don't know, that's the dude on the bottom left with the hat on. He's speaking as a Toronto Raptors fan. He said, in quote, the league is paying attention to the Raptors and the Sixers basically resting fully healthy rosters in February. That's what happened. That is exactly what happened. So, I mean, however you want to say Paul George got the jack in his knee and got the wrong needle and got out, or whatever this case may be, whatever it is, he was still resting while he was healthy. Maxey probably was too. And I said that the Philadelphia 76ers and the Toronto Raptors need to be invested. They need to be investigated. My man Breezy has went forward. He basically tried to he basically tried to pocket watch the Pelicans and they picks and everything, but he went too far back. He's just going on the history of it, bro. And that's what it was. The Pelicans made the playoffs last year, so they most likely going to get a top 3 pick this year. Their team just got hurt. So, I mean, but and then again, they was resting. They were resting Zion Williamson, and I got to talk about how I believe Zion Williamson and Cooper Flag may be on the same team in the next couple of years, sooner than later. Shaking my damn head, resting players. We watching them. We watching them too. Yes, we are. Yeah, we are watching them. We paying attention. Ice. We see these fools out here resting players and shit. But probably somebody's gonna make the same argument that we just resting Cam Thomas, because a lot of people don't believe in a hamstring injury. But that's another story for another day. So let's go.
They are watching the Miami Heat win the first half of friggin' every single game, and then in the second half forget how to play basketball and lose 8 straight games in March.
Okay, so the Miami Heat thing. Okay, so he's paying attention. So I thought this was related to bottom 5 talk, but this is more Penn. Penn is going in on the Miami Heat now. So now the Miami Heat apparently was winning games early in the season, and then they forgot how to play basketball like as the season went on, all the way to the trade deadline until they traded Jimmy. And the Miami Heat are healthy, and they still a playing team. They're a healthy playing team. They just lost their culture. That's all that was. They just lost their culture. But I have not watched Miami Heat basketball most of this year, so I can't really talk much. So he has. So I'm gonna let him get back to it.
In February, yo, this ain't.
But they
good
got
for
their
the
guys though.
product.
Wait a minute though, Penn. I mean, Bam is playing. Hero is playing. All of
If
those guys are playing. They are playing.
Say so.
They're not just out
they don't know how to
there.
play right now, Chill, because I don't know what to tell you. It
Teams
doesn't
don't have
matter
losing
if the
streak?
Heat are up by 20, 30,
Yeah.
50. They could be up by 80 points in the first half. I guarantee you they're going to somehow lose that game in the second half. And it's the same thing with the Utah Jazz. They've been doing it all year.
Oh, okay. All right. If we talking about play, the Utah Jazz and the Miami Heat, they are on fraud watch. They are on fraud watch. Let's not be mistaken that we've held so Penn, I don't know if you watched my man, definitely no disrespect, man, but I don't know if you watched the games on whatchamacallit. I don't know if you watched the Nets games where we've had big leads and we blew it in the second half. So I mean, if you want to say that, you know, you got to keep it fair. So I don't know if you like trying to knit like needle there, bro. But I'm gonna watch the rest of this video and see where he takes it. But he did talk about how the Miami Heat and the Utah Jazz have basically they somewhat purposely played bad second half basketball. Like I mean, they do have better rosters than we got. I will say that. Those is teams with better rosters than we got, bro. I will say that, bro. So. Let's get back to it, bro. Let's get back to my man Penn.
It's the same thing with
the
Brooklyn
Jazz
Nets.
have been
It's
disgraceful.
the same. What I just watched the other day, I wasn't on the panel, but what I just watched, the Philadelphia 76ers. No, Mr. Mars, the Philadelphia 76ers and the Houston Rockets. Yo, what the hell was that?
Oh wow,
that's not a miracle.
Oh wow, all right. I don't even want to really speak on that game. All I know is Quentin Grimes went off for like 46, and somehow they still lost that game. And they was up by like 20 something in that game. In that sad game, bad team. Listen, historically, bad teams figure out how to blow the dope at the end. Bad teams figure out how to blow the dope at the end, bro. Like it's been happening for many years. It's going to continue to happen. So I mean, it is what it is. Bad teams, they know how to blow the dope. So I mean, that's all I can really say about that, man. Nothing else to really be said. They put a roster out there that shouldn't have been winning in the first place, man. And the Rockets came back. Of course, Mars is going to co-sign it because he's been a Rockets fan for maybe just under 1,000 days or something like that. So just over 1,000 days.
That is
that was an amazing comeback. That's what that was.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. It was an open layup for Jalen Green. It was a putback for Alperen Sengun. And I don't know. I would love to be a fly on the wall in that Sixers huddle. Hey guys, nice attempt. Time to tear it down. It's like they were up by 25 points. Fred VanVleet goes out. I mean, that was a secret, right?
Yeah.
I ended up hitting Mars with a text. I hit Mars with a text, and I asked Mars.
I hope they make a lifetime
movie
about
that
comeback.
No, you said some expletives, but you asked what was going on, basically.
Yeah, some colorful
you asked what was
language
going on, basically.
What is happening right now? What am I watching? What is going on right now? How are these dudes with 11 guys who haven't played a lot? Is it this Quentin Grimes' third or fourth team that he's been on? Like this season, if I'm not
gonna lie, Quentin Grimes been getting passed around like a blunt in the NBA, bro. Like I ain't gonna lie, he been getting you want this? Yeah, you can take it, bro. He been getting ciphered around the league, bro. Something crazy, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you because I think he He was just on Dallas. He was on the Tangerines. He was just on Dallas, and then he went to the Pistons, and now he's on the Sixers, bro. Like he
But
went
they
to
Six
like
keep
four
last
teams
year,
this
yeah.
season.
The Knicks, Pistons, Mavs, and now the Sixers.
So now,
Crazy.
so now we watching the Houston Rockets, who are a game out the second place, getting blown out by the 76ers. What is happening right now? Am I in the Matrix? What is going on?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Came back, and then we came back.
They came back.
Then they came
Yeah,
back.
not because they were tanking, because
Well,
we're
that's what
amazing.
happens when Fred VanVleet has 3 points in 38 minutes.
Man.
But what I will say, okay, so those were 2 adjustments. So to recap here, 1 through 5, 2 years in a row. The third year, if you end up in the lottery, automatically you get the 14th pick or the 13th pick or whatever. If there's two teams, 14, 13, do a coin flop. Okay. The second change was instead of doing the lottery 1 through 4 and then reverse order, you do it 1 through 7. Despite what Chill says, I don't think that this is necessarily penalizing teams or taking anything away from them. What this actually does is it flattens the odds further, because now if you're the 11th team, 10th team, whatever, you actually have a chance to get a better player. And look, from the perspective of why you would want to do these two things, number one, I want as many great players going into great situations. That's all I want. I want great players going into great situations.
And this is the problem that I have. My P1, what's going on? So 20 points is not a lot of points. 25 point lead is not a lot in today's NBA. You're absolutely right, bro. Teams could come back from that in an instant, bro. 25 points. For a bad team to be up like for a bad roster on the court to be up on a top 3 team in the West, that's not enough. But basically Penn is saying he wants a lot of these top picks in the best possible situation possible. But Penn, I'm sorry, that if you when you mention that, that's basically saying that the NBA is going to build some of these teams that are tanking, that build the teams that are that have good players on their roster and didn't add more to it with guys in the top 5. And the Philadelphia Sixers know that. The Toronto Raptors know that. The San Antonio Spurs know that. It's some of the reasons why a lot of people are saying, "Yo, coop to the San Antonio Spurs," or coop to Philadelphia, and then they break it all up, and then they rebuild the team again and shit like that. These is what guys want to see, and that's basically the NBA building a team. That's basically the NBA saying, "Hey, listen, we know y'all ain't been doing it." Basically saying the NBA to the front offices, but hey, we know y'all ain't been doing that good, so we're gonna give y'all help. We're gonna help y'all out a little bit, man, because we kind of want y'all to win. Y'all a pretty decent market, and we want to build this said market and things like that. Like, bro, the thing about saying that, you think it's a coincidence that Wemby is in San Antonio when they started the season 8-3? You think it's a coincidence, bro, that the only team that finished worse than them was the Spurs, but it didn't matter as long as the Spurs was the Detroit Pistons, and they got number 5 pick in that draft. And even if the Spurs finished, all the Spurs had to do was finish out of the play-in, and they were going to get the number 1 pick. You think that's a coincidence? Anybody in the chat think that's a coincidence that the Spurs that Wemby is in San Antonio? They're the only team with a French fan base. My bad. Might have said something too loud. But the NBA in the San Antonio Spurs, as long as the San Antonio Spurs lose enough games, the NBA can cover it up. Shouldn't talk too loud about the NBA, bro. Like, being that I need a top 3 pick, right? My bad. I didn't say nothing. I didn't say anything. I promise. Yeah. Let's go back to the video.
Because far too often when we recount all the draft busts throughout NBA history, we're looking at a lot of players who ended up in not so great situations. We're looking at a lot of players who ended up with not so great vets, not so great development, not so great coaching. So
hey, so you know whose problem that is, Penn? That problem that's what happens when you're the best player coming out of the draft. You go to the worst possible team in the worst possible situation, and they tell you to basically we need you to turn water into wine. Grant Hill went through it, and when he got drafted by the Pistons, Jason Kidd, he did what he could do in his first stint with Dallas. The Los Angeles Clippers, they got Blake, and then the very next year he went off. They found out who he was, and then the year after that he got Chris Paul, and then they were a playoff team. Then they were the Lob City Clippers. Zion Williamson, he went down to the Pelicans. They didn't give him much. Who else can I name? AD, he was down in New Orleans for a while. Everybody, they thought he was paper mache. They thought he was made of glass. And Zion Williamson is basically going through the same injury issues that AD went when he was down there. Maybe it's the training staff. Who knows? Maybe Zion is actually trying to get in his best shape. Maybe. Just make it 1 to 30. Every team has the same percentage. You immediately remove tanking. Oh God. That would be terrible. That's a fucking terrible idea. Then the next thing you know, the Lakers, then they're just gonna hand every pick to the Lakers then, because that's the team they want to sell. When the ratings get low, then they just gonna hand every top. They just gonna keep handing the Lakers top 5 picks left and right. That's what you want? They're just gonna keep handing the Lakers and the Celtics top 5 picks. That's what you want? That's what you really want? You sure? Don't sound like a good idea to me. You want to keep stacking up Steph and LeBron with these young talent and young teams? You want to keep doing that? I don't. I would like them to get the fuck out. It's time for them to go. They've been wasting a lot of time. They're done. So let's get back to this.
Why am I constantly?
Flag maybe going back to school? Exactly.
I mean, we'll see.
Yeah.
The third and final thing that I would like to do is I would like to add some sort of incentive for making the play-in for the teams that don't
like
make
it helps your odds. Like it helps your odds.
I feel like right now all the odds go down.
Yep.
Right.
Okay. First off, the play-in shouldn't even exist. The play-in is the regular season. I don't even know why the play-in is even here. You know what I'm saying? Like the play-in should not exist at all ever. That shit should disappear immediately. That's my whole take on the play-in, bro. Like as soon as LeBron leaves the play-in and the in-season tournament and team Steph versus team LeBron and whatever all-star game format, everything should go back to normal. Everything should go back to what it was before LeBron basically went to decided to control ESPN for 30 minutes and tell the city of Cleveland that he went to Miami. All of that shit is LeBron's fault. That's all that was. That's this new NBA regime. The NBA front office, they need somebody that's gonna take hold like this, gonna bring things back to tradition. It was nothing wrong with tradition. It was just everything was wrong with the players. Now the 65 game incentive, I don't think they're gonna bring that back because that basically helps the owners. They're like, oh, somebody plays 64 games. That means I don't gotta pay him that much money. Great. That means they left off an incentive. They left off all NBA team. They left off a whole bunch of teams and whatever, and then we ain't got to pay them. Great. We only got to pay 24 All-Stars and 15 All-NBA players, 15 All-NBA players, 10 All-Defensive players, and 10 All-Rookie players. That's it. That's not a lot of players. So they don't really have to do that. The playing has always been a horrible idea. The in-season tournament is a horrible idea. Yeah, of course it is. I mean, so I'm ignoring that comment about the playing. Who makes the playing should be incentivized, bro. The hell with that. You made the playing great, but like, bro, 9 and 10. That's just another way of giving teams another chance. So I'm not with that. No.
So what if we could artificially boost the odds of the team? Like there's like 4 extra percent, or like the, and we could give 2% each. No, 1% each to each team that doesn't make the play-in. That's just like everything is currently, weighted, for the first overall pick out of 96%. Then 1% extra goes to every single team that made the play-in but didn't make the playoffs. It adds a slight boost. And, right now, you're looking at the Raptors and the Sixers and the Heat, this who's going to be 10th, who's going to be 9th. Right now, the Miami Heat are in free fall. They look like they want to lose every
I don't think they're
game.
doing it on purpose, though, Penn. I really don't.
But they're still going to make the play-in regardless, no matter how much they're trying to tank.
I don't think that they're doing this on purpose. I really think that they're genuinely trying to get it together.
Because Toronto going to out-tank them, and they got a 5-game advantage.
Yeah.
So
you would think so, but if you look at the schedule upcoming, I feel like it would be very possible for the Raptors to go like 9-4 the rest of the way.
The Heat playoffs will find a way to lose the game. I promise you. The Heat will But
the Heat could fall out of the play-in, man. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Chicago is being very ethical.
The Heat players.
They are amazing. They're like the perpetual.
Chicago fans are hating it.
Yes, they do.
Chicago fans are mad that for the 3rd straight year,
of course,
they're hovering around the 9 seed.
But they are perpetually 10th or 9th every year. And it's pretty amazing. It doesn't matter if they trade Debo. It doesn't matter if they trade Levine. It doesn't matter if Josh Giddey goes out. They're in that. They're stuck in purgatory, right? They're just right there, perpetually knocking on the door that never results in the playoffs. That always results in like the 9th or 10th.
Atlanta, bro, they stay in the middle of the pack, bro.
All I'm saying is
there's nothing they can do, bro. Like they in the middle of the pack, man, regardless. No matter who they got on their team. Middle of the pack. The hell with that. Chicago. That's where you at. Middle of the pack. Middle of the pack, Atlanta. That's where you at. There's nothing them teams can do, bro. Like, the thing is because they don't change anything. They don't change anything, bro. Like, everybody sees it coming, bro. They like, all right, we saw this coming. Come on, Zach. Man, come on. Don't get me wrong. They was on to something with Lonzo and Caruso anchoring their defense. But once Lonzo fell, everything fell to shit. So, doesn't matter. Nobody cares, man. Shit. Ain't nobody care about that franchise since 1998. Let's go.
Think about this situation. If per this situation, the Wizards would automatically lose their pick this year and go to 14th, wouldn't it? Because they've been bottom 5 back-to-back years. And a team like Chicago would then actually move up a spot.
Well, hold up, Penn. Hold on, Penn. What about the Charlotte Hornets? Penn? This is their third. This is about to be their third year. Going to being in bottom 5. This is about to be year number 3. So you're gonna have to penalize them too. Oh no, but the Charlotte Hornets, man, they had a bunch of injuries, man. That's why. Hey, it's not my problem. Not my problem, bro. Y'all was trying to trade and help the Lakers. See how that shit go. Fucking losers, man. Let's get back to this.
So there you go. So now suddenly you are actually helping a team, and yeah, you're technically hurting another team, but you're actually helping a team that's doing the right thing. Again, every situation needs to be like created with the mind of what are we incentivizing teams to do? Right now, what you are incentivizing teams to do with this second apron is to stop throwing around money, to stop being so idiotic with how you build rosters. Have a little bit more, I don't know, presence of mind. Maybe you don't want to, you know what I mean? Like if you don't introduce the second apron, I'll guarantee you right now, instead of the Clippers and the story that we're having about the Clippers, we're talking about Paul George on the Clippers, because there's no chance in hell he's going to Philly if that second apron restriction is not there. Again, you create rules to create the league that you actually want to see. I want to see a league with, less tanking. I want to see
that is true. That is true. You create rules, but at the same time, guess what? Players find their way around those rules. Teams find their way around those rules. And this is why you do certain things that you do. They find it, like whatever happens, any and everybody is gonna find their way around shit. They just gonna revert and just gonna start doing something else. It is what it is, man. I mean, I can't fault nobody for going to, all right, yo, let's work our way around it. Because one thing about it, ain't nothing in this league guaranteed. So you build a team hoping that they're gonna win. If they don't, all right, yo, I guess we back into playing, because you don't want to be in the middle of shit. You don't want to be in that middle lane and stuck in purgatory. You don't want to be where Chicago and Atlanta is. You don't want to be where them teams that stay in the playing is consistently. So you go out and go make the team better however you can. And a lot of teams is looking at this second apron like, hey, we ain't got no chance at that. So, okay, let's go to the draft. Teams like Charlotte have no choice. Teams like Washington have no choice. There's no, like, who's coming in and who's coming in free agency and coming to save the day? Nobody. As a net, now if you're a Nets fan, that shit is a little bit different. But they're still at second apron. But everybody still cautions with money. But everybody doesn't want to spend too much money on some said player. Teams that lose 50-something games, they don't go out and go pay players, bro, like, unless they know it's for sure that they're gonna win 50-something games the next year. That's what the Nets did. That's what the Clippers did. So, I mean, if they know for sure that they're gonna be in the playoffs the next year with that said player that they signed in free agency, whether it be a player that's looking for a new contract that's on a roster already, or a player that's looking for a new team, guess what? This is what they look at. This right here is what they look at. Ooh, it's money over there. Ooh, Nike. Ooh, endorsements. Ooh, baby. Yay. So that's just how it is. Let's get back to the video, man.
A league where young players, great young players, top picks go to better situations. I believe that these three changes would accomplish all of that.
Wouldn't, like, I respect the thought process that's gone behind this. Like, definitely thought this.
I definitely respect the thought process to come on it.
Wouldn't it just be a lot simpler if you just said 1 through 14 all have a 7% chance of the number one pick?
So now everybody has the same odds.
So if you miss the playoffs by one spot or you're the worst team in the league,
Right.
you have the same exact chance. Wouldn't that just do the same thing?
Okay, but now you create a new problem.
Yes,
which is problem. You create a very big problem for the 15th, 16th, and 17th teams, and 18th teams, and 19th and 20th teams, because right now I'm basically having to choose between having even flat odds at Cooper Flag. I mean, think about right now, around what place is the team that has 7% chance at Cooper Flag?
Oh, in the current odds?
Mm-hmm.
How
bad are you?
I believe is Toronto. So the seventh worst team.
So right now, the seventh worst team. So you're basically telling every lottery team that now you have the seventh worst odds. Now, you know, when the Raptors got Scotty Barnes, they had they had 7% chance at number one, and they moved up to number 4. So you're basically asking a team like Chicago.
So, like, all right. So I respect Penn's opinion on this, man. My man P1 said to Charlotte. Charlotte and the Wizards just got to be happy they even have a team. I mean, I guess that's kind of a flex. That's a bit of a flex right there. I mean, Charlotte Hornets been around since 1989. The Wizards have been around. They've been in the NBA since the 70s. Going back to the Washington Bullets and the Baltimore Bullets. So I mean, saying that they should be happy that they even have a team. I mean, that's basically saying like, all right, yo, don't nobody want to own them. Don't nobody want to be in charge, really. I guess. I don't know what that comment means right there, but it seemed like kind of a flex, and I'm pretty sure the teams like I'm pretty sure the bum ass Tangerines and other fans are saying the same thing about us. Poverty franchise, this, that, the third, whatever. So the thing about this, I lost track of what I was gonna say. The thing about this is that these ideas basically create new problems. They do create new problems. Like so. I noticed that throughout the most of this conversation, they talk about players that were in the lottery, that were top 10 picks, that were not whatchamacallit, and then they go to this draft, and it seems like I don't know what it is about this draft. It seems like if you're not a tanking team, if you're not a team that's going that has a chance at a pick, if you're not basically if you're not a Nets fan, if you're not a fan of none of the bottom 5 teams, you know nothing. You don't really care about this draft like that, because all I keep hearing is Cooper Flag. When you go to some of these major stuff, all you keep hearing is Cooper Flag. So when we just talked about the Warriors, they didn't even have a top 5 pick, and they got Steph, who's the face of the most successful franchise in the league right now. And that didn't happen overnight. That took time to happen. Since from 2000 and 2009, they might have barely been worth $300 million. Now they're worth $8.6 billion. They are living off the Steph era. The Chicago Bulls are living off the Bulls era still to this day. They're living off of Jordan. The Brooklyn Nets are the only team in the top 6 of high value markets that aren't living off of anything. What are we living off of? What are we living off of? We didn't win anything. We didn't have anything. What are we living off of? I don't know what we're living off of. Because when Kevin Durant was on the Thunder, I'm pretty sure they wasn't top 6. When Kyrie was on the Cavs, I'm pretty sure they wasn't top 6. You could probably remember maybe when they was top 10. I don't even know if they was ever top 10. OKC and those teams. I don't know if the Celtics was ever top 5. When Kyrie was over there. Shit, Phoenix ain't top 6 now that they got Kevin Durant. And Dallas ain't top 6 now that they got Kyrie Irving. Well, James Harden. James Harden. The Rockets is top 5. What are they living off of? Olajuwon? I mean, you got to do some winning. You're gonna have to do some winning. I said they should just drop the odds on the teams that tank purposely. Well, how do you determine that? How you determine that, bro? Like you just look at a team and be like, nah, y'all doing this shit on purpose. Y'all doing this shit on purpose. And I feel that idea, but I feel like that idea could come randomly. You know what I'm saying? Like us, like me and like here's the thing. Here's the thing about that, Ice. When I say that we haven't tanked, somebody like and then 29 other people from 29 other teams vote that we did tank, because they'd be like, yo, look at the rosters they put out on the court. Look at the teams that they put out on the court. That's not winning. That's tanking. Then you're gonna get that vote to 29 out of 30. Yo, believe that we tanked. Just because they believed it, that's what it was. So I don't really like that word, man. So I mean, they said them teams that sit in healthy players and it and being investigated. Yeah, we talked about Philly. We talked about Toronto. But Penn dug the needle even further, talking about Utah. And Utah came in the season. Utah came into the season 0-6. So he started 0-8. I believe they started 0-8, something like that. Said my point is not every team in the NBA is supposed to be competitive. LOL. Exactly. But at the same time, over half the teams in the NBA make the playoffs. 16 teams make the playoffs out of 30. Said both these teams, for the majority of my life, have been bottom of the barrel. These is facts, though. Charlotte and the Wizards have been bottom of the barrel for most of our time. Sacramento, they've only made one goddamn playoff appearance in the last 17 years. It's teams that were in the shitter years ago. They are still in the shitter. Might be a very, very few of them, but they still in the shitter. It's teams that were mediocre back then. Or sometimes they was in the shitter back then, mediocre or shit. Guess what? They mediocre or shit today. The Golden State Warriors I think they had a run. They're gonna go back to being in the shitter again, just like the Chicago Bulls, just like the San Antonio Spurs. The San Antonio Spurs got Wemby. Guess what? They still in the shit house. They're still in the shit house. The reason why they got a lottery, bro, is because they wanted to build other teams and to build other markets. That's the reason why. He said, I think the NBA rigged these draft picks. I think NBA don't really care about making poverty-run franchise competitive. They'll throw a bone at them, like LaMelo to the Hornets every once in a while. That's what I said. Because I'm pretty sure, I'm pretty positive, I'm 100,000% positive. When the Lakers, when the NBA back in 2009 put Steph Curry, placed Steph Curry in the hands of the Golden State Warriors, they wasn't thinking, oh wow, championships. Yo, they $8.6 billion franchise. They're gonna be one of the greats. They wasn't thinking that then. You help your own situation. You get your own luck. You make your own luck. 9 times out of 10, you make your own luck. Well, let me not say that. I mean, like, sometimes you get lucky. I'm going to just say that. Sometimes you get lucky enough to do certain things. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you do. Jameis Winston just signed to the New York Giants. Don't get no worse than that. I mean, shit, I thought LaMelo should have been on the Warriors. The Warriors was offered the first overall pick, which was Anthony Edwards. This clearly shows they don't know what the fuck they're doing. They got lucky. Most championships are won off of luck. There's very few championships that's won through the mud. Very few. A lot of these franchises are run poorly. It don't matter if they get a top pick. They'll just screw it up. Look at Minnesota for the longest. They were terrible. Exactly. Minnesota went on a 20-year drought of advancing in the of going to the playoffs and advancing the playoffs and winning a playoff series. When they got Ant-Man, they was like, oh, okay. When they got Cat, they was like, eh. But when they got Ant-Man, they was just like, okay, all right, they could do something. Minnesota, they peaked last year at top 3. Guess where they at now? Out of the out of the play. They back in the play-in. They back there, just like that. So some of these teams, bro, because now that the second apron is up, some of these teams, bro, they probably gonna have maybe 1 year in the sun, and then that's gonna be it. The second apron is basically creating more, supposed to create more parity, but yet the Lakers and the Celtics are still top teams. What's going on here? So the Lakers, the Celtics could just get, they could just like that, just get Drew Holiday and win the championship. They could just get him just because they wanted him. Milwaukee Bucks gave him up to Portland. Oh, let's go get him. Some of this shit is wild set up. But the thing is all about putting the pieces and puzzles together to let everybody know that it's set up. Conglomerates run everything. Lakers, Celtics are conglomerates. The New York Knicks, they only think they are conglomerates. But the fact that they think that they're conglomerates, that means they can control something. And if the New York Knicks and the New York media can control whether or not Dr. J can come in the NBA, can walk in the NBA and be on the Nets, as the Nets is walking in the NBA and still be on the team, then what's going to stop the New York media from stopping the Brooklyn Nets from creating a positive 50+ win team? Because we created one for the past couple of years, man, when in the KD and Kyrie era, and guess when, just like that, it blew up. If you're telling me that's the best that we can do, a lot of us is going to be Nets fans for quite some time, and a lot of us is going to be watching the Nets lose for quite some time. That is one of the harsh realities. The only reason why I wear this Nets hat is because this is home. I promise you, bro, if the Nets was in Kansas, bro, and I liked them, I would have been off this franchise the second that KD was out. I would have been off of them. People want to win. They want winners. It's just that simple. So it is what it is, man. I'm going to get back to this video. Hold on.
Chicago or Miami that could be in the playoffs.
Or Sacramento.
Do you want that or Sacramento or Portland or San Antonio or Dallas or literally any one of those teams?
Sure.
See, all you're doing is you're taking the current bullshit that's happening.
Talking about the lottery.
Like currently the bullshit, the real bullshit that's happening
that's right,
in the
Bobby.
NBA is between.
That's right, Bobby. Hold up. I ain't forget about my man on the top right, man. That's my man, Big Ox Bob. Everybody know, for those of y'all that don't know, he is a Sacramento Kings fan. But he grew up in Sacramento, man. So Sacramento, I guess, is home, just like Brooklyn's home for me. And he has watched for the past 20 years the Sacramento Kings below the dope in the draft. Their best players did not come from the draft. Their best players did not come from the draft. The best player that they probably got out of the draft might have been Boogie because of the numbers, but he didn't do no winning. Tyreek Evans because of the number, because it's rookie season, he didn't do no winning. Jason Williams, White Chocolate, did some winning. He did some winning. I ain't gonna lie, he did some winning. Helped that team immensely. You know what I'm saying? Helped that team very, very immensely. He was drafted by the Sacramento Kings in 1998 with the 7th pick. So he did some shit immensely. But they traded him for Mike Bibby and got to the conference finals. Then they got caught up in the Donahue shit, and that was it. So I mean, listen, and I mentioned the Sacramento Kings because guess what? That's another franchise for the better part of a lot of people's lifetime. 17 years. Except for 1 year when they made the playoffs and they ran up in the Golden State only to get 50 dropped on them by Steph. That's a team that has been in the shitter for most of our lives. We don't expect them to do nothing. We don't expect them to do shit. It is what it is. It's garbage in, garbage out. A lot of people feel that same way about the Nets. Only Nets fans don't feel that way about him because we endorse him. Just put yourself in other positions. Like put yourself on the outside looking in. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. I'll get back to the video.
Pick teams that are third worst down to about 14th worst. You're taking that bullshit and you're just transferring it to happen between teams that are 10th worst to 20th worst. You just
would I be a hypocrite if I said tanking ain't too bad if you just do it one time?
Well, that's the thing, Ox. You're not getting penalized for doing it one time in my system. You're getting penalized for doing it 3 times.
Okay.
All right.
Tanking one time technically is not bad. But at the same time, if you tank once every 20-something years, and every time you tank, you get a generational talent every 20-something years, I'm paying attention to that shit. San Antonio, I'm paying attention to how somehow one of the greatest prospect in probably the history of sports just landed in San Antonio. I'm paying attention to that because Tim Duncan, when they clearly tanked to get Tim Duncan, and it led to 20 years of 50+ win seasons. It led to 5 championships. They cheated. In a lot of people's eyes, they cheated. It is what it is. So, I mean, I don't know. Tanking one time to me, bro, like, is one too many. I don't give a shit. The Nets did not tank. The Nets did not tank. Go ahead.
I
Playoff
like a
doesn't
lot
mean
of
it's
that.
still tanking, but I get your point.
See, here's the thing: if you finish bottom, 5 one time, it could just be because you had a major injury, you had a star retire, you just had a catastrophic bad luck. You're trying to rebuild with youth. We know youth doesn't win. If you finish bottom 5 2 times, it means the process is taking longer. If you finish bottom 5 3 times, this is a choice.
Right.
You are choosing to be bad.
You're trusting the process at that point.
Yeah, but you said you don't have to finish.
You said if you finish bottom 5 once, it might have been on accident. If you finish if you finish bottom times twice, bro, okay, all right, okay, maybe something happened, this, that, and the third. You finished bottom 5 3 times. They said that's a choice. Said if you finish bottom 5 3 times, that's a choice. Oh shit.
Bottom 5. You said finish bottom 5 twice and then miss the playoffs the next year. You still don't get you get your pick at 14.
Yeah.
If you miss the playoffs by 2 games in the 3rd year, I don't think you should lose your pick. Well,
But you're not losing your pick.
Rules.
I don't think your pick should go all the way
gross.
to 14. I don't
But
think.
here's the thing, Mars. If you miss the playoffs by 2 games, your pick would pretty much be 14th anyway.
But it could have been 12th.
Oh my God.
Yes.
So who cares?
Oh my God. I want my chance at 12.
Well,
whatever
maybe-
the rules are,
I want my chance.
they got to be strict. But the thing about it, because I heard what y'all saying about Chicago got bigger problems than that. Chicago problem is how long was it? How long did they not have a development staff?
2
They
years.
didn't have shooting coaches.
A shooting coach for 2 years.
Yeah, they got bigger
Have a
problems than that.
shooting
Like,
coach for
you know what I'm
2
saying?
years.
Some of these things that's going on with these teams is just internal. I'm of the mind that the rich
Time out. I low-key forgot that the Chicago Bulls didn't have a shooting coach for 2 fucking years. They didn't have a shooting coach for 2 years, bro. Oh, Lord, bro. Wait a minute. Yo, wait a minute. Oh, man. Hold up. That's crazy. That's crazy, man. That is crazy. Oh, shit. Oh, man. I got to get back. Let me get back to this. Hold on.
get richer and the poor get poorer. You know what I'm saying? It's not, I don't like it. I don't want it to be that way, but that's just how it is. This is America. These teams are going to be this way. These other teams, they're just not. Like the Sacramento Kings, we're never going to be the best. We're never going to be the best franchise in basketball. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, there's some teams like the Lakers, the Celtics.
Well, that's probably true, but the one hope that you're not shaving out is the fact that a generational player could come through and change a lot, man. I mean, the Milwaukee Bucks and the Denver Nuggets and even the Golden State Warriors, bro, like, they've changed their luck with 3 generational players. I mean, it is what it is. The Oklahoma City Thunder, for as long as they've been the Oklahoma City Thunder, they have had 4 MVP caliber players on on a team. They have had 4, bro. I get it. Well, I'm counting James Harden, even though he won MVP on Houston. They drafted him. 3 of them they drafted. Right now they got Shea, and he's turned himself into an MVP caliber player. They got Kevin Durant, who they graduated with as an MVP caliber player. They got Russell Westbrook, who changed the trajectory of the MVP race forever. He changed it, bro. 2017 Rush changed everything that we know about MVP voting. He changed it. He changed that, bro. He changed that. That was the stand that like, yo, so if you're not on a number 1 team, and I'm gonna say this one time before I get back to what I'm saying. If you're not on a top 3 team, a top 3 seeded team, and you do what Russ did in 2017, that the trajectory of the MVP race changes. It changes, bro. And guess what? Joker is doing that. Nikola Jokic, for all intents and purposes, is coming close to doing that shit. It's just that simple, bro. This man should be. This man should have 5. He should have going on 5 MVPs right now. He should be going on that. So I mean, it is what it is. So let's go.
The Heat, you know, the Mavericks.
Never off.
Now
Never.
It's just
Never
not.
gonna be the
It's
best
not.
franchise
It's
in
not.
basketball.
It's just not meant to be. Like we might get back in the, you know, and make a run sometime in the near future. I don't know. Maybe when my kids are in high school or something like that. Who knows? But we won't be the Los Angeles Lakers. We won't be the Boston Celtics. You know what I mean? Some teams are just meant.
The idea. Well, here's the thing about that, Bobby. The thing is, the other 28 teams, they won't be the Boston Celtics or the Los Angeles Lakers neither, because they don't have that history. The Los Angeles, we all know the Boston Celtics been getting spoon fed off the draft for years. Red Auerbach been robbing the draft for years, for decades. The Los Angeles Lakers, they've been robbing the draft for decades. But the thing is, they've had 2 of the greatest thieves in the history of basketball in Red Auerbach and Jerry West. They know what they're doing in the front office. Jerry West is arguably the greatest executive of all time. That's what he is, man. He left this earth as the greatest executive of all time. He may not be the greatest player of all time, but he left this earth. Some people probably call him the greatest basketball player of all time. Some people probably calling him that. Maybe not in terms of the NBA, but in terms of his whole body of work. College and NBA. Him and Kareem is probably the 2 best basketball players ever. They probably are. Kareem probably hold down that fort more than anything, but he played for the Lakers. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is, man. I mean, let's go.
To be what that meant to be, you know, and we got to just accept it. You know, the Bulls, it was cool in the 90s. The Kings, it was cool in 2002. That shit is long gone.
And that is the end of the video, man. That listen, there's a lot of dudes, they was right. They was right, man. They was right about stuff. They were 100% right about everything that was being said on a lot of them said videos, man. A lot of them things. So my thing is that, listen, to conclude that video, not this one, but to conclude that video, I just want to say, I like Penn's idea. Shout out to Penn's basketball. I only met him one time. I think we might have been on a pod together maybe once, but I ain't never actually get a chance to, meet him. But I thought he had good ideas about that set system. I just think usually you going down a rabbit hole of creating more problems when you do said things like that, man. So I mean that's just my short end of it, but I'll probably watch it again and again and just to see just have my thoughts out there aloud, man. I'm just sharing my thoughts with everybody with everybody up in here, man. But big shout out to everybody that's up in here. So the next thing I want to do, I want to get to the I want to get to how accurate these draft picks are. I want to get to how accurate, because I know every now and again a team could get a top pick, a top 5 pick. I'm only looking at top 5. I'm only looking at top 5 picks. That's all I'm looking at. So I'm gonna go to the top 5 picks, and I'm gonna go look at what their record was that year, and then we're gonna go from there. We're gonna see how accurate this thing is, man. So let's do it. Let's do it right now. Let's do it right now, right this second. So we're gonna get right to it. We're gonna get right to it. So let's get back to business. All right, so y'all can see on my screen. Clearly, y'all can see the emblems on my screen. I'm gonna just get right to it. Okay, so this year, we just going by league standards. Okay, so bottom 5, Wizards, Jazz, Hornets, Pelicans, Nets, as it stands right now. So if I'm right about this, these 5 teams right here, based on what was happening to a year-to-year basis, we should get a top 3 pick in this draft. We should. The only teams that should probably be in front of us are Utah, New Orleans. Hornets and the Wizards, they should be 4th and 5th. That's my opinion. That's the realistic opinion. Because the Pelicans, they finished, if I'm not mistaken, the Pelicans finished, they were a playoff team last year. Pelicans were a playoff team last year. So let's get down to the basis of this argument. So let's go back a year. Let's see what happened last year. Okay, bottom 5 teams last year. Here we go. Wizards again, Hornets again, and the Spurs. The Atlanta Hawks got the first pick, and they were 10 games under 500. They were basically they were check out what Atlanta Hawks was. They were right here. The Nets, we finished with not even out in the bottom 5, and you know who our top 3 pick was in that year? Reed Shepherd. That was our pick. So, so the Nets, I actually think they deserve a top 3 pick, being that was our pick and we actually didn't get the pick. You know what I'm saying? And the Rockets finished the Hawks finished ahead of us, and they got the number 1 pick. That's probably because they had like a protection on some of the picks and something like that. So the Pistons got 5. The Wizards got number 2 with Alex Sarr. I think Portland got somebody. I don't remember who they got. I don't remember who the Hornets got in that said draft, man. I would have to go look at that draft. The Hornets were right outside of 5. They were right outside of 5 in that draft. I'm looking at another page. They were right outside of 5. And the Spurs, they were inside the top 5. They got Stephon Castle. So that's what that was. Okay. So let's go to the year before. And this year is very interesting because the Spurs finished right above the Pistons. The Spurs got Wemby for that, for being tied for second best. The Houston Rockets, they got Amen Thompson at number 4. The Detroit Pistons, they got Asar Thompson at number 5. So the Hornets, once again, were bottom 5. Once again, we're a bottom 5 team. This is about to be 3 years in a row that they're bottom 5. They got the number 2 pick in Brandon Miller. So that's what they got. Let's see. If I'm not mistaken, we were a playoff team that year. We were a plus 500 team that year. That was the year that we traded KD. We were 45 and 37. So we was nowhere near of getting a pick in that draft. We ended up with Noah Clowney at 21. Let's see. Is there other teams that I'm missing? Portland, where were they at in this draft? Was Portland ended up with Scoot Henderson. They were bottom 5. The Charlotte Hornets ended up with Brandon Miller at number 2. So let's go back a little bit. So it seems like it's somewhat accurate, other than Atlanta getting the number one pick. That was somewhat of an anomaly. Somebody might have slipped up, maybe put the ball somewhere it didn't belong. This, that, the third. Okay, let's go back to this year. So so these records that you're looking at, these bottom 5 records that you're looking at, and I'm gonna blow the screen up a little bit more. Hold on. I'm gonna blow it up a little bit more for y'all, and let y'all see what's going on here. So let's just blow it up a little bit. Let's just get it right to here, and let y'all know that y'all looking at the bottom 5. So we're looking at the bottom 5. The bottom 5 teams at the end of April 2022. Rockets, Orlando, Pistons, Thunder, Pacers. Now let's see. Pacers ought to be interesting, bro, because Pacers they were bottom 5. They were bottom 5 barely, and they got Benedict Mathurin at number 6. Let's see other teams. Sacramento Kings, they did not finish bottom 5, but they ended up with a top 5 pick, and that pick was Keegan Murray. The Pistons, they they were bottom 3. They were the 3rd worst record. They got Jaden Ivey at 5. So everything seems like it's on point right now. Everything seems like it's very, very much on point. You know what I'm saying? And to mention that there are good picks outside of the top 5. You know what I'm saying? So let's go back another year. So if we go back a previous year, we go back to the 2021 draft. And let's go to who finished bad in that season. Let's go to that. So Rockets, Pistons, Orlando, Thunder, Cavs. Cavs finished bottom 5. They ended up with Evan Mobley. Raptors finished bottom 5. They ended up with Scotty Barnes at number 4. Evan Mobley went number 3. Pistons ended up with the number 1 overall pick in Cade Cunningham. The Rockets, they ended up with Jalen Green at number 2. The Thunder, they ended up with Josh Giddey at number 6. Let's see. So that ends that bottom 5 of that said year. And the Cavs who else was in that? The Minnesota Timberwolves, who was in that. I don't even think they got the 10th pick in that draft. I don't even think they got a lottery pick in that draft. I don't even think they got a first round pick in that draft. And that's probably because they didn't have any. They probably gave it up. That's the only way I can see it. They didn't have any. They probably gave it up. Or they probably might have forfeited, something like that. So let's go back another year. So we're gonna go to the 2020 draft. That was the Ant-Man draft. Anthony Edwards went number 1 to the Timberwolves. Did the Timberwolves finish bottom 3? Yes, they did. Let's see. James Wiseman, he went number 2. He went to the Golden State Warriors. Did they finish bottom of the league? Yes, they did. Isaac Okoro went number 5. The Cavaliers finished bottom 3 in the league. Did they finish? Did they get a top 5 pick? Yes, they did. They got Isaac Okoro. Atlanta and the Pistons were tied with 20 wins at 4 and 5. Atlanta, where did Atlanta go? Atlanta might have forfeited their pick this year. I don't know. Because I don't see them. The Pistons, they were bottom 5 again. They got Killian Hayes at number 7. Exactly bottom 5. The Knicks, they got Obi Toppin at number 8. They was right outside of bottom 5. So that's what that was. So let's go back some more years. Let's go back another year. We go into 2019 draft. 2019, I believe that was Zion. That was the Zion Williamson. So the Pelicans finished They did not finish with a bottom 5 record. They did finish with a bottom 10 record. They were rewarded Zion Williamson with the number 1 pick. The Grizzlies finished with the same record that they finished with. They were rewarded number 2 pick. So this is a little bit eye-opening because the Knicks finished with the worst record and they got the number 3 pick in R.J. Barrett. This is a little bit alarming. The Phoenix Suns, they finished bottom 5. They finished with the second worst record. They got Cam Johnson, who we now got. They got Cam Johnson at number 11. So this draft is a little bit tricky. I got to find out what happened in that draft. Darius Garland went number 5 to the Cavaliers, who finished the 3rd worst that year. Chicago and Atlanta finished the 4th and 5th worst. Atlanta got they got DeAndre Hunter at number 4, and Chicago got Kobe White at number 7. So that was the end of that. The bottom 10 teams, they a little bit different. I think Rui Hachimura went number 9 to the Wizards. The Wizards barely finished out that said pick or whatever. That said side or whatever. So that's what that was. So let's go back another year. Let's go back to the April of 2018. April of 2018. Let's go. Who got picked the year before that? Number 1. I believe that was DeAndre Ayton. Yes. This is known as the Luka draft. So Phoenix finished worst in the league. Guess what? They got the number 1 pick. They got DeAndre Ayton. In Memphis Grizzlies, they finished 2nd worst. They got Jaren Jackson Jr. at number 4. Atlanta, they finished 3rd worst. They got the 3rd pick, which was Luka, but they traded him to Dallas for Trae Young. Dallas, same thing. They vice versa. They got the number 5th pick, which ended up being Trae Young, but they traded him for Luka. Orlando got the number 6 pick. They were at the 5th worst, so they got Mo Bamba. So the way that it's looking so far, it looks like the Nets are not going to be in the top 5. I repeat, it looks like the Nets are not going to be in the top 5. That's what it's looking like. It's looking like the Nets are not going to be in the top 5. That's what it is looking like. It is looking like the Nets are not going to be in the top 5. So this is what we got. This is what you got. So I don't mean to apologize to certain people, but this is what we have. We're looking to be in the top 3. Doesn't look like we're going to be in the top 3. Barely looks like we're going to be in the top 5. So let's go to the previous year. The only reason why I kept saying top 3 is because I think top 3 is pretty accurate. So let's go to a year before that, where the Brooklyn Nets finished bottom of the goddamn league. The Brooklyn Nets finished the bottom of the league. The pick that they were going to get that year in April of 2017 and the summer of 2017 was going to be the best player in that draft, which was Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum went at number 3 to the Boston Celtics instead of going at number 3 to the Brooklyn Nets. This is what we did. The Phoenix Suns were the second worst. They finished with the number 4 pick, which was Josh Jackson. The Lakers, they finished bottom 3, and they got Lonzo at number 2. The 76ers, they finished bottom 4. They got Markelle Fultz at number 1. Well, no. I got to repeat it because the Brooklyn Nets actually finished with the worst record, and they would have actually had the number 1 pick because the number 1 pick was traded before the draft that year. The Boston Celtics had the number 1 pick. They traded down to number 3, and they still got Jason Tatum. So that's something to be alarming about. Orlando finished bottom 5, and they winded up with Jonathan Isaac at number 6. We are bottom 5 currently, and that's as far as we can get. And there's going to be a lot of people that's going to be pissed off. So I guess there's no reason to go on long any further. So there's no reason to go on long any further. There's no reason to go along and say some of the things that we need to say any longer. So, yeah, it's not looking good. It's not looking good. I actually had to do my homework. And I could actually, only thing I'm actually doing is hoping for the reason is that we get a top 3 pick. But as it looks right now, it doesn't look like we're getting a top 3 pick. Doesn't look like that way. Doesn't look like that. The draft is going the way that it's going in the past 10 drafts. The way that I've looked, and from everything I looked at, we're not getting a top 3 pick. We're not. We're not getting it. We're not getting it. We're not getting it. We are not getting it. Nope. We are not getting it. Because when we finish bottom 3, we got a top 3 pick. That's what happened. So we are not getting it. We are not getting it at all. We're not getting it. So it's over with. We're not gonna get it. We're not gonna get it. We got our picks back for nothing. We're doing all of this for nothing. Yeah. So yeah. That's it, man. That's all I wanted to say, man. Appreciate everybody coming up in here. Hit the like, share, subscribe button on your way out the door. I'm out. Yeah, that's it, man. I'm out.